like I was saying, that is politics, when we look at it. Because why would you believe them and follow them? Politics is not about believing anyone or being persuaded into anyone. That's still in a form of religion. You see what I'm saying? If you have to be persuaded into something, persuaded into what? You know what I mean? You know what the world needs. You know what's going on in this world today. So why would you need to be persuaded into anything? You're voting for a betterment of government and certain things within your society, economic, so on and so on, making sure the country's this and people have, you're voting for those things. You're not voting because you like the Democrats. You're not voting because you just specifically like the Republicans. That's a choice. That's a choice. Based on saying that these individuals, if you end up voting for them and they end up winning, then they're going to do the job that they're supposed to do. Not be a dictator and tell you how you need this and you need that, and if you don't do it, we're going to take away your freedom and restrict you and all of that. How does that come into a cure when you're supposed to be curing and helping? You making it worse because something deeper is in there that they know they have to pull this down the line or they would be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Some things that seem true, but not. You know what I'm saying? Not a persistent but gentle persuasion, but it is, a malicious, deception, and many fell right in. Facts and point blank. There is no other way around that. We knew that was going to happen. You see, we were just waiting to see what kind of stunt they would pull. You see, 9/11 came very close, which was one stunt. And now this one, the major, that they're going to rump and ramp. They intend to do harm in this one. But how do we know it is so? Because if we look carefully at what they are fighting for, based on what they say they are basically. What are they fighting for? Or what they basically say they believe in, or what they are. Why are you taking it to such a verbal extreme when we're talking about protecting the voting process? Doesn't make sense there much to me. It do not add up. Let's put it that way. It don't add up. I don't know how else to say it, but it don't add up when you look at it. You see what I'm saying? It don't add up like COVID-19. That don't add up. COVID-19. Voter restrictions is there to stop the fraud, in many fronts. Especially mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, voting machines, electoral college, and so on. There has to be a looking into this. There has to be a looking into this because if you don't look into these things and make sure that the balance is there, there is going to come a time where the same people who are following these people are going to get screwed. And that's point facts. I don't know what to tell you. But they say the voting rights, the rights, your rights needs to be, they talking about voter rights. But the question is not the voter rights are challenged as to the restrictions being put into place. No, there are many states that already have this already in place, but it's not there for that to be argued over where you're going to do a mutiny and travel all the way to Washington, D.C. to pile up with everybody and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. This is politics. And again, like I said, politics. But they saying, voting rights. So if you have the rights to vote, then your voting rights need to be protected. Then what are you telling kids to vote for when you go out and rally and do all this garbage you do? We don't get it. You know, it's one big poppy show. And Obama got a nerve to be running his mouth, you know what I'm saying, after what he did and who he is and what we know you are. Nobody have to call you out on it, but you coming with some garbage. You should have no say. You're not the president anymore. It's not just Trump. So sit your ass down somewhere and stop talking about what you think parents should do and parents did because they didn't take this and they didn't take that. Go sit your butt on down. You took a lot yourself, didn't you? So you need to go sit down somewhere. You know what I mean? You know? But we need, hey, in live now. You know what I'm saying? But, as my wife, you know what I'm saying, she always doing something. You know what I mean? Always running that trapper John MD. But, we going to respect that because that's the house in this ghetto and that's how we go. You know what I'm saying? But your voting rights need to be protected. Just say, let us vote is a good thing, but the slogan sounds like, bull. It doesn't sound right. But it is. Right. And it is not seen for them. It is a right for them, but it's not seen amongst the common people. The common people are still stuck on Republicans and Democrats. We should be focusing on good government. Forget all of that. Well, that's not going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Still saying December 2019 in 1 hour before they're spreading around the world, but did it? Is the question. Did it really spread around the world? You know what I mean? We have to look at that. Can they prove that? Because Fauci never proved that. Where's the proof? I've never seen any proof of any substantial evidence of how it began, where it came from, this, that, and that. We've seen a few stunts here and there. We've seen a few games to get your mind running with it, like the Demon Democrats like to do when they go out there and hold hands and sing Kumbaya to fight against the restriction laws. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't say much because Fauci never proved that. He never proved that anything to keep it going is what really he's doing. 3.29, you know what I'm saying? Billion shots. Yeah. It is the most bloodiest war they ever fought. Yeah, it is. The Demon Democrats brought it down on the people of America, if you ask me, and the world as a whole. You know what I mean? As a whole. So we're still looking for answers. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, the guy said, this is going to be the bloodiest war we ever fought. And then he snapped off the TV, never seen him again. But I remember the foolish guy that said that, and don't think I don't know who you are. Ooh. Don't play with me. I'm putting black. No, I done told you. Don't play that. Because I'm still asking your dumb ass, Mr. Bloodiest war we ever fought. We still haven't gotten an answer when it was asked to you about the rubber coffins. Boo! Huh. Or, what are they for? What were they for? And, the one that said that is the same one that said, this is going to be the bloodiest war we ever fought. That's why Sergeant Slaughter, the governor at the time, I think he was, had to come down on your head. That's right, Sergeant Slaughter. I remember when you were peeking out that door trying to defend yourself when Sergeant Slaughter had asked you about them over in the shipyard. And then by the time he made it back to the shipyard, you had done made a call and have the coffins removed. Now you keep them on the road, riding around on the back of trucks with a Freemason symbol on it. So you ain't fooling nobody. But the bloodiest war we ever fought. You had been planning this even going back to the days of Sergeant Slaughter when he was governor and doing investigative reporting as to what his people, his countrymen were doing in his country. That's right. I remember, peeking out the door saying, I didn't know they was there. Rubber coffins. Oh, yeah. That's probably was what, back in the early 90s when I saw the report, maybe? The early 90s? So they knew and planned this out. You know what I'm saying? That was why Bill the Goat Gates was going around, spreading these facts and shit. You see? In Africa, you know what I'm saying? And any country leader that would let him in, you know, that would let him in. So we know how long it was going on. Other people might not know of, and that's why they were able to be so easily tricked and fooled. But I go back to even that. And further than that, I'm watching a lot of things that went on. All the way back to David Rockefeller and the chip and ID garbage he was kicking. Although we have to keep an open mind, whose open mind is the question, Mr. Fauci, slick mouth, gobble mouth. You should have been called a nigger. You know what I mean? Not in the sense that I'm saying what they call us. No, 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 no. A different, whole different kind. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, the meaning of the word itself. You know what I mean? Since you want to be smart. When it comes to the weasel, Anthony, the not Fauci now said, it came from a reservoir in 1 hour. How many stories you got running it down? Where people were drinking the water. Oh yeah. From a natural, and he's trying to say it's a natural transformation. Based on if I was a natural, if people drinking filthy water, like you try to do over here on Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Who the hell drinks garbage, poison water unless you have an agenda to make the people sick, to keep the money flowing? You know what I'm saying? But that's your silly behind. He's trying to say it was a natural transformation in his head, maybe. You know what I'm saying? What Pachi is doing is trying to find in his mind a natural origin. You know what I'm saying? In the minds of the people also. But that's not gonna work. Not with intelligent people. But you need to come better than what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You need to come better than what you're doing. So when we look at, it doesn't add up or anything to do like that, we realize that there is too much. You trying to change the minds of people, but in the reality of this situation that we're looking at, we have to pay attention to that because reality speaks for itself. I mean, what world you want to live in if you're living only in a fantasy land? Everything they say is true. Oh, the Bible is true. Oh, listen, they have to try to even bring that Bible alive because that Bible been passed, that garbage Bible been passed for so many years of saying the same thing repeatedly over and 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 over with no scientific facts at all. No groundbreaking facts, very few facts. And the only reason it may have any kind of fact in it is based on giving it its validity. It's to give it a validity to make you believe it's right or something that you must respect. You know what I'm saying? But when you read the words in it and the things in it, what respect is you talking about? Because it sure don't make much sense in some of the things in the Bible that is there when you really look at them. You know, when you really look at them. But in the reality, this is a lie talking about a reservoir. And it came from one out. To me, that still seems like a lie. And it's alleged on my channel until we have concrete breaking proof. Don't tell me keep no open mind. Open mind for who? Since when the Derek, he's a demon Democrat, you could tell because listen to the type of things he said. Oh, let us keep an open mind here. Let us keep an open mind. You know what I'm saying? For what reason? For what reason would we need to keep an open mind? So you can ease a lie in by using that statement? So we forget our mind? Or to get our mind off an investigation independently that needs to be done in the truth of did it really come from one out? Where did it really come from? If it even came from anywhere at all. Trying to see the thumb-sized bat was living and peeing in the reservoir. I know what a reservoir is. This is not making very much sense. In what we find. This is another lie to me for it to spread. So this is Point Blank saying, keep it tight, keep it right. Coming up with part 3. Stay with me, and I'll be right back after these important messages. This is PBNN, Point Blank National News. 1.